It's always the same. You wake up staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of yesterday still pressing on your chest. The disappointment, the regret, the missed opportunities, they all stack up in your mind, each one heavier than the last. You've been trying to move forward, trying to grow, but the same pattern repeats. You feel stuck, trapped by your own mind. But what if I told you that this pain, this sense of being trapped, isn't a sign that something's wrong? What if it's the sign that everything is about to change? What if the very thing you've been avoiding, the thing that has kept you from your full potential, is actually the path to your transformation? You see, the man you could be is waiting behind the pain you've been running from. The discomfort you feel is not a signal to stop. It's the signal to go. You're standing at the edge of something far greater than you can currently comprehend. All it takes is a shift in how you see yourself, a shift in your identity, and that transformation begins. Right now, you have a choice. You can stay where you are, keep playing by the same rules, and hope that someday the pain will go away. Or you can choose to rise, to face that pain head on, and to see it as the very catalyst for your greatest growth. This is not a motivational speech about chasing dreams. This is about identity transformation. This is about reprogramming your mind to operate at a level you've never thought possible. It's about understanding that the pain you're avoiding is the doorway to the person you've always wanted to become. What you're feeling right now, the frustration, the fear, the sense that something isn't right, is not a mistake. It's a signal from your future self, urging you to break free from the old you. It's time to embrace the truth. You are the one standing in your own way. The world won't change until you change. The circumstances won't align until your beliefs about who you are align with the greatness you're capable of. You have to believe that you are worthy of more. You have to believe that the man you could be, powerful, unstoppable, at peace with himself, is already inside of you, waiting to emerge. And here's the secret that no one tells you. The man you could be doesn't exist until you choose to become him. It's a mental shift, a decision that happens not in a moment of glory, but in the silence between your thoughts. The decision to face the pain instead of running from it. The decision to shed the skin of who you've been and step into the unknown. It's not about waiting for the right time. It's about creating the right time by changing the very way you think about yourself. Right now, you have a moment, a brief, precious moment to make a new choice, to stop the cycle of self-doubt and fear, to reset. This is your reset. You've been living according to someone else's script for too long, society's, your family's, your peers' expectations of who you should be. But who you should be isn't who you are meant to become. The man you could be is not tied to your past mistakes, your failures, or your doubts. He's tied to the choices you make right now. This moment is the catalyst. This moment is the reset. The pain you feel is just the friction between the person you are and the person you're becoming. And every time you choose to confront that pain, every time you choose to step through it, you move closer to the person you're meant to be. The true you. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are on the verge of something so much greater than you can imagine. But it starts with this shift, this decision, this reset. So I'm asking you to take a breath and hear me clearly. The man you could be is waiting. He's right there, behind the fear, behind the excuses, behind the pain, and he's calling you forward. He's calling you to break free of the chains you've been carrying, to step into your own greatness. This is where you begin. This is where you choose who you are becoming. The man you could be is waiting, but you have to make the choice to step into that life. You have to make the choice to reset your mind, and it all starts now. The moment you choose to believe in the power of your own transformation, the world will open up in ways you've never seen before. Your future self is waiting. The question is, will you answer? You've heard it before, the phrase, you become what you believe. But here's the cold, hard truth that many of us refuse to face. Your subconscious doesn't care what's true. It listens to what's repeated. Think about it. If you tell yourself every day, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be able to do this, then those thoughts, those words are forming the blueprint for your life. Your mind doesn't question the validity of these statements. It doesn't ask for evidence or seek to find out whether they're true. It simply absorbs them. and it uses them to create your reality. The words you speak become the world you live in. Every time you say, "I'm not worthy," you carve out another path that leads to more disappointment, more frustration, more limitation. But what if, instead of reinforcing your current beliefs, you rewired your subconscious to align with the highest version of yourself? What if, instead of holding on to the old stories, you began to tell yourself new ones, stories of power, success, and belief? This isn't about positive thinking. It's about identity rewiring, creating a new identity by aligning your subconscious mind with who you truly want to become. Let's take a step back in history. Think of Henry Ford, the man who revolutionized the automobile industry. His belief was so deeply ingrained that it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Ford was not an inventor in the traditional sense. He was a believer, a man who had an unwavering belief that cars could be affordable for every American. People thought he was crazy, but he didn't care what others said. Ford said, "If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right." His belief shaped his reality. And it wasn't a belief based on evidence or past success. It was a belief based on autosuggestion, the repetition of thoughts that aligned with his desired identity. Now think about Thomas Edison. People called him a failure, mocked him for his persistence, and laughed when he said he would create a working light bulb. But Edison was relentless. Why? Because he had a belief that was so ingrained that failure was simply part of the journey, not the end of it. He wasn't just a man of invention. He was a man of belief, a man whose identity was built on the foundation of "I will make this happen." And he did. Edison didn't just get lucky. He rewired his mind over and over again until failure was no longer a setback. It was just a step. Repetition, belief, and action created his identity as an inventor, and that identity created a reality where he was able to shape the world. And then there's Charles Schwab, the steel magnate, who through sheer will turned a struggling steel company into one of the world's most powerful corporations. Schwab's secret? He believed in himself with every fiber of his being. His belief in his own abilities was so powerful that he was able to transform entire industries. Your subconscious mind doesn't care what's true. It doesn't care if you've failed before, or if your current situation feels impossible. It listens to what you say, and it believes it. And what you believe will create your reality. That's the power of autosuggestion. That's how you rewire yourself for success. You want to change your life? Change your beliefs. I'm not talking about some surface-level affirmations that you repeat without conviction. I'm talking about reprogramming your identity from the core. You have to speak to yourself in a way that aligns with who you're becoming, not who you were. You need to say it, believe it, and live it. Start by speaking your new identity aloud every single day. Speak it as if it is already true. Feel the truth of it in your body. I am the person who succeeds. I am the person who overcomes. I am the person who has unlimited potential. Let me be clear. This isn't about wishing for change. This is about commanding your subconscious to create the change. When you speak these words, you're not just saying them. You're instructing your mind to make them true. Over time, those beliefs will shape your actions. Your actions will shape your identity, and your identity will shape your reality. The reality you're living right now is a direct result of your beliefs, but you can change that. You can start rewiring your mind today, in this moment. It's not about waiting for the world to change. It's about commanding the change within you and aligning your thoughts with your desired outcome. So here's what I want you to do. Say it loud every day. I am the person who follow it up with what you are becoming. You don't need to wait for perfection. You just need to commit to the belief. Speak it, repeat it, embody it, over and over, until it becomes a part of you. Because once your subconscious mind believes something, it will start to create the reality that reflects it. And that's when everything changes. If you want a new life, it begins with a new belief system. If you want to create the future you desire, start by speaking it into existence today. Say it, and move like it's done. You've heard it before. The phrase, "you cannot serve two masters." Well, this principle doesn't just apply to philosophy. It applies to your life, your identity. You cannot serve two identities. One must die. Right now you're straddling two worlds. You have the person you are today, with all your habits, limitations, and beliefs. Then there's the person you know deep down you're meant to become, the person who's powerful, unstoppable, living with purpose, who doesn't hesitate. The problem is these two identities are in direct conflict. The old you holds you back, whispers doubt into your ear, and demands you stay comfortable. The new you demands action, discomfort, and complete commitment. This is where the truth hits hard. You cannot carry both identities forward. One of them has to die, and that one is the old you. The decision to truly evolve isn't just a casual thought. It's a final decision that echoes throughout every part of your being. No more halfway. No more excuses. If you want to step into the person you're meant to be, you have to make an uncompromising choice. Think of Alexander the Great. When he crossed the Dardanelles into Asia, he didn't just march with his army. He burned the boats. He made it clear there was no turning back. If they were to survive, they had to conquer or perish. He didn't just conquer lands, he conquered his own fear, doubt, and hesitation by making sure there was no fallback, no option to retreat, no escape route. When you decide to step into your true identity, you have to burn the bridge, the backup plan, the option to retreat into comfort that must be destroyed. When you make this choice, you make it with the understanding that there is no other way. There's only forward. There's only the new you. Take another example. Walt Disney, the man who brought us magic, but he wasn't always a household name. There was a time when Disney was on the verge of bankruptcy. At one point, his company was deeply in debt, and his backers were ready to pull out. But Disney had already made his decision. There was no turning back. He had no fallback option. He risked everything because his identity was tied to his vision. The Disney empire wasn't built because he had a good idea. It was built because he committed to that vision without hesitation, without second guessing. This is the lesson. You cannot be both who you were and who you are meant to be. One of them has to go. And if you want to rise, if you want to step into your full potential, the old identity must die. You have to decide, now, once and for all. This decision isn't something you make casually. It's something you engrave into your identity. So say it with conviction. I've already decided. There is no second choice. There is no other path. You are not waiting for permission. You are not waiting for the right moment. You have decided, and now you own that decision. The decision to fully commit is the turning point. Once you decide, the universe responds differently. Opportunities begin to show up. The people who align with your new identity start to appear. But this only happens when you make that decision with complete finality. You know the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, here's the truth. The teacher shows up when you make the decision, not before, because your new identity is a magnet. It pulls in everything that aligns with who you are becoming. But if you're still holding on to old beliefs, doubts, and patterns, the universe cannot give you what you're asking for. You have to decide, and then hold that decision with such intensity that everything else in your life rearranges to support that commitment. Now, say it again, and mean it this time. I've already decided. There's no turning back. You're not waiting for the world to change for you. You're not waiting for the right opportunity to knock. You're creating that opportunity by deciding, by fully committing to the new you. Never go back. You will. This is the point of no return. From here on out, every action you take must align with the decision you've made. The path to greatness is not a gradual journey. It's an all-in commitment. No more hesitation. No more someday. You've decided. Your old identity may scream, "You can't do this," but it no longer holds any power. You've already decided. And once you make that decision, every ounce of your energy is focused on becoming the person who has already achieved everything they desire. You are no longer the person who doubts or hesitates. You are the person who makes decisions and moves forward with unstoppable momentum. Now that you've burned the bridge, there is no fallback. There is only forward. And as you step into this new identity, know that every step you take is a step toward a version of yourself that is destined to win. You have already decided. Repeat it. I've already decided. Say it until your subconscious believes it, and then walk forward like it's already done. Your environment will make or break you. It's not just about the work you put in or the hours you dedicate, it's about the people you surround yourself with. You become like the minds you align with. This isn't some abstract principle, it's the law of proximity. The people you spend the most time with shape your beliefs, your habits, and ultimately your identity. If you're not surrounded by individuals who elevate your mindset, who challenge your growth, who believe in more than the status quo, you will never rise beyond where you are. Let's look at the mastermind principle. Napoleon Hill, in his iconic book Think and Grow Rich, talks about the mastermind as a group of people who share a common purpose, vision, and goal. He says, "No individual may have great power without availing himself of the mastermind." It's the idea that when multiple minds come together, they generate an energy that surpasses what any one person can achieve on their own. Ford had his mastermind, his network of trusted allies, innovators, and thought leaders. So did Thomas Edison, Andrew Carnegie, and Schwab. These men knew that success wasn't just about individual effort, it was about the collective energy of the right minds working toward a common goal. You cannot become the best version of yourself in isolation. You need to align yourself with people who challenge your thinking, who demand more from you, and who encourage you to push past your limits. The power of the mastermind is that it taps into something greater than the sum of its parts. When you join forces with others who are aligned with your goals, the energy that flows between you creates synergy, an energy that propels you toward your success. But here's the hard truth. Not all minds are created equal. Some minds will drag you down. Some will make you question your worth, doubt your abilities, and hold you back from your full potential. If you want to become the person you were meant to be, you need to clean up your environment. Start by looking at the people you spend time with. Are they lifting you up or holding you back? Do they challenge you to think bigger, to act with more conviction, to believe in your potential, or do they encourage comfort, mediocrity, and stagnation? You need to make a decision about who you will allow into your life. You cannot afford weak energy in your atmosphere. You cannot afford to be around people who question your vision or make you feel small. You need to be surrounded by power. There's a saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about that for a second. If you want to become the best version of yourself, you need to make sure that those 5 people are high performers, visionaries, doers, and believers. You need to find your tribe, the people who will push you, challenge you, and make you a better version of yourself every single day. I'm not saying you should abandon all your friends or family, but you need to surround yourself with people who push your boundaries, people who have already achieved what you're striving for. If your circle is filled with people who don't have the same ambitions, the same mindset, you'll stay exactly where you are. Your environment will keep you in a holding pattern. But when you start to intentionally surround yourself with greatness, your environment will begin to change, and so will you. This is the principle that drives the most successful people in history. They were intentional about their associations. The right people in the right environment will challenge you to grow faster, think bigger, and act with more power. Now ask yourself, do you have people in your life who help you rise, or do you have people who keep you anchored to the past? If your circle doesn't reflect the version of yourself that you are becoming, it's time to make some changes. This is where your growth accelerates. When you clean your environment, your friends, your mentors, your peers, you start to change at a rapid pace. The energy around you shifts, and you begin to pull in opportunities, connections, and insights that will fast-track your success. And don't be afraid to let go of those who drain you. Let go of the people who question your dreams, who bring you down, who encourage you to play small. It may be difficult, but it's necessary. The person you're becoming needs the right energy, the right influence. I do not allow weak energy in my atmosphere. That's the mindset you must adopt if you want to level up. This is not about being arrogant. It's about protecting your mental space, your emotional well-being, and your potential. You are on a journey toward greatness, and you cannot afford to be held back by those who are content with mediocrity. The best part? As you begin to align yourself with stronger minds, you will become stronger too. The power of the mastermind is real, but it requires intentionality. You need to surround yourself with people who demand the best from you, who hold you accountable, and who bring out the best in you. So here's your challenge. Look at your environment. Clean it up. Seek out the people who will elevate you, who will challenge you, and who will push you toward your greatness. And let go of anyone who holds you back. Repeat after me. I do not allow weak energy in my atmosphere. Say it until you believe it, and then act on it. Your environment will shape your success. Choose wisely. You've made the decision. You've burned the bridges. You've cleaned up your environment and surrounded yourself with power. But there's one last piece to the puzzle that will separate you from everyone else. It's not enough to just be good enough. You have to go beyond expectations. The most successful people in the world didn't rise to the top because they did what was required. They rose because they exceeded expectations, not because they were asked to, but because it became part of their identity. They became over-deliverers. Over-delivering isn't just about putting in more hours. It's about consistently going above and beyond what others expect from you, without any guarantee of reward. It's about setting a standard of excellence in everything you do, whether anyone is watching or not. The world doesn't reward mediocrity. It doesn't reward doing just enough. The world rewards excellence. And excellence comes from doing more than what is required, even when no one is looking. Think about Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men in history. He didn't just meet the needs of his steel company. He exceeded the expectations of his workers, his customers, and himself. Carnegie's success wasn't just about his business acumen. It was about the identity he built as a giver, a man who went beyond what was required to create massive value for others. He built his empire not by doing what was expected, but by over-delivering at every turn. Or consider Schwab, Carnegie's right-hand man. Schwab didn't just manage people, he inspired them. He led by example, constantly exceeding what was asked of him. And the result? He became one of the wealthiest, most influential businessmen of his time. These men understood a principle that too many people miss. Success is not about what you do, it's about how you do it. The best don't just work hard, they work with purpose. They don't just do the minimum. They create a new standard of excellence. They don't just show up. They show up with intention, with commitment to their craft, and with a relentless drive to over-deliver. This is the identity you must adopt. If you want to stand out, you must see yourself as someone who gives more, who does more, and who never settles for what's good enough. You must reprogram your mind to make over-delivering a habit, not a choice. Here's the catch. The world doesn't always reward your over-delivery right away. Sometimes you'll put in the effort, go above and beyond, and get nothing in return. But you're not doing it for the reward. You're doing it because it's who you are. That's where true power lies. When you detach from the outcome and focus solely on your identity as a person of excellence, the reward becomes inevitable. People will begin to notice the difference in you. The opportunities will start flowing in. Why? Because the person who exceeds expectations becomes irreplaceable. You're not just doing your job, you're defining the standard for excellence. And as you do, you begin to rewire your own mind to believe that exceeding expectations is not just something you do occasionally, it's something you do in everything, every day. This is about identity. When you say, I am a person who delivers more than expected, it becomes part of who you are. It becomes the baseline from which everything else flows. It becomes the rhythm of your life. So let's break it down. From this point forward, you no longer settle for mediocrity. You no longer do things just because they're good enough. You go beyond what's required. You show up with passion, with energy, and with a drive to exceed the expectations of everyone around you. The next time you're faced with a task, whether it's a project at work, a personal goal, or an interaction with someone else, ask yourself, how can I over-deliver? How can I add value that no one expects? How can I make this experience unforgettable? That's the mindset that leads to greatness. That's the mindset that transforms your life. When you make over-delivery your standard, you will unlock doors that others can't even see. You will become the person who not only meets challenges, but beats them. Let me tell you this, you will not be remembered for doing the minimum. You will not be remembered for checking boxes. You will be remembered for the times you exceeded what was expected of you. You will be remembered for the extra mile you walked, the additional value you brought, the work you did when no one was watching. So ask yourself, what will you be remembered for? It's time to make this your identity. Say it out loud, with conviction. I exceed expectations because it's who I am. And then show up as that person. Because once you start living with that mindset, once you make exceeding expectations your default, you will find that success is no longer something you chase. It's something that chases you. It's time to lock this in. You've made the decision, burned the bridges, surrounded yourself with power, and committed to over-delivering at every turn. But here's the thing. None of it matters if you don't turn it into a daily ritual. Repetition is the language of the subconscious. What you do every single day is the foundation of your transformation. It's not enough to just make a decision once and walk away. You need to embody that decision. You need to reprogram your mind, moment by moment, until it becomes so ingrained that it feels like second nature. Think about it. The most successful people in history didn't just have a burst of motivation. They had a set of rituals they followed day in and day out. Henry Ford didn't just decide to change the automobile industry once and then rest on his laurels. He repeated his vision, his actions, and his commitment over and over again until it became part of his identity. Edison didn't just wake up one morning and stumble onto the light bulb. He repeated his failures, his experiments, his belief that he could create the impossible, and with each repetition, he got closer to his goal. The key is ritual repetition, taking the actions that align with your desired identity and repeating them until they become part of your subconscious programming. The mind, once it is repeated in action enough times, will begin to believe it. And when it believes something, it will create a reality to match it. If you want to be a high performer, you need to build high-performance habits. If you want to be someone who is unstoppable, you need to act like an unstoppable person every single day. These habits, these rituals, are the bedrock upon which your new identity is built. It's not about willpower or motivation, it's about consistency. Here's the game-changing part. You have to walk like it's already yours. This means living in the end. When you make a decision to become someone extraordinary, you don't wait for the results to prove that you're worthy of your new identity. You act like the person who already has what you want. You walk with confidence, talk with purpose, and make choices based on your future self, not your current circumstances. This is what separates the dreamers from the doers. The people who rise to the top aren't waiting for the world to hand them success. They act like it's done. They live like the victory has already been won, and the world starts to respond. I'm not talking about arrogance or pretending. I'm talking about faith in action. Faith that the person you are becoming is already here. Repetition builds belief. When you repeat actions in alignment with your new identity, your subconscious starts to believe it's real. It begins to reshape your thought patterns, your behavior, and your outcomes. The more you repeat, the stronger the belief becomes. The stronger the belief, the more effortless success will feel. But here's the catch. You can't just repeat actions. You have to repeat them with conviction. You need to act with the certainty that your success is inevitable. You need to say it out loud. I act like it's done. Because until you act with that certainty, until you walk with the belief that you are already the person you're becoming, your progress will feel like an uphill battle. But when you start living from that place, when you start acting as if everything changes, the universe responds. Opportunities open. Doors that seemed locked will suddenly swing wide open. Your rituals are creating your reality. So here's your final challenge. Make your rituals non-negotiable. Build the habits that support the person you want to be. Speak your affirmations daily. Say them with power, with certainty. Feel them in your body. I am the person who succeeds. I am the person who rises above. I am unstoppable. Say it, believe it, and live it. And when you wake up every morning, act like it's done. Walk like it's already yours. Speak like it's already yours. Make decisions like it's already yours. The only thing standing between you and your greatness is repetition, repeating the right actions, thoughts, and beliefs day in and day out. until your subconscious has no choice but to accept them as your truth. When you repeat, you reinforce. When you reinforce, you lock in your new identity. And when you lock in that identity, your success is inevitable. So repeat after me. I act like it's done. I walk like it's already mine. Say it with conviction. Say it with power. And now, walk forward, knowing that you have already become the person you were meant to be. Let the world wonder what changed. You don't owe them answers. You are the answer.